Shalom. Hashem, Yahushai, Bahashim, Kakudash, and the wondrously apostles and others great Muslim salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother, I am Noah Allah from Gemma, Chicago, and I'm gonna just do a quick lesson on this video that you see here on the screen. Alright, it says it says F them kids. ICE agents drag children out of bed and ransack Chicago building. Right, and in this video, it goes to show you that you got ICE agents, right? They put children in, like, they tie them up with like Ziplocs, all right, and they're basically dragging them out, all right. But this goes to show you that things are really just intensifying, all right. And they're also detaining American citizens. But now let's just play the video.
Reports about a chilling and downright shocking escalation of ICE tactics against the residents of Chicago. In the middle of the night, hundreds of armed federal...
I'm also thinking about this as well, because you also got the government shutdown happening as well, all right. And basically it starts with the federal workers. It starts with the federal workers first, all right, where they're being furloughed, meaning that they're going to have to go without pay, all right, working without pay. So they're being furloughed, and they say if that continues on for months, all right, maybe just for like 2 or 1 month or so, all right, people with SNAP benefits, right, they're about to lose it. They're about to lose all their SNAP benefits, right? They won't be getting any SNAP. They won't be getting any that unemployment pay, all right? Depending on if it's federal or state funded. But it goes, well, if you actually look at it this way, as you're connecting the dots, all right, Esau is basically orchestrating chaos, all right. So I believe that he's gonna keep the government shut it down to the point where Jake will start panicking and they're gonna start looting his stores because they can barely afford anything to get by. All right, and then Esau will have a great excuse to declare martial law once he sees people go haywire on basically stealing from stores and shit, resulting into stealing, robbery, whatever. Because mainly our people, all right, which at the bottom, they're struggling, especially in this time because, all right, jobs are disappearing and shit, all right. A lot of places are going out of business, and you mainly got our people suffering the most. Nonetheless, I'm just keep playing the video.
Agents and police, backed up by riot trucks, smoke grenades, and helicopters, breached fences and busted doors in an immigration raid on an entire apartment building on the city's south side. They pulled dozens of residents from their homes and zip ties, including children, some of them without any clothes. They then held some outside for hours and dragged the others into rented vans.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face.
Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
They zip tied the kids.
God damn. Yeah, it's getting fucking crazy out here,
ICE put out a statement saying they were pursuing Trinidad gang members, but U.S. citizens living in the building say they were detained too. The cops told them that if they had any unrelated warrants, they wouldn't be going back home. 37 people were ultimately arrested after agents separated children from their parents on the street. And if you're looking at this and asking yourself, how is this legal? That is the right question to ask. And it has kind of an answer, and to understand it, you have to go back to Los Angeles this summer, where federal immigration agents started pushing the envelope on orders from the White House. They raided Home Depot parking lots and Walmart lots, and they grabbed people they saw. Near one Home Depot, masked agents with batons grabbed Narciso Barranco, who has lived in the U.S. for more than 30 years and has 3 sons serving in the Marine Corps. They saw.
Yeah, you can see
Near one Home Depot, masked agents with
too.
batons grabbed Narciso Barranco, who has lived in the U.S. for more than 30 years and has 3 sons serving in the Marine Corps. Agents beat Barranco on the ground, dislocating his shoulder before detaining him. In Van Nuys, agents raided a car wash, remembering this, sending patrons and workers scrambling before the 79-year-old owner, who is a U.S. citizen named Rafi, tried to ask them what they were doing.
What the fuck?
That is when Rafi was taken down by agents and eventually handcuffed. Rafi says he was injured in the process.
And they sit on me. It's in my elbow. About a week ago.
God damn.
And it's in my arm.
Rafi says he and 5 others at his car wash were taken to a federal detention center downtown. We're still working to learn more about why they were detained.
And that man is not alone.
Look how you got my hand twisting that. I don't know anything, bro. Yo, these guys are literally based off of skin color. My homie was born here just because of the way he looks.
Agents kept stopping people they suspected of being undocumented immigrants for no reason.
Yeah, you got Esau, right? Being the shit out of Jake, right? But this Lord putting the spirit on Esau, all right, to basically punish the 2/3 of our people, which you see them getting jacked up by Esau and shit.
They weren't obviously white, like Brian Gavidia, the man you saw there, the 29-year-old American. He wasn't arrested, but he says agents went through his phone for 20 minutes and kept his real ID card. Now, these are obvious violations of people's core constitutional civil rights, their right to equal protection and the freedom from unlawful searches and seizures. And victims filed a class action lawsuit. And after an entire bench trial, a federal judge sided with those victims and ended the ICE sweeps. And in her ruling, she wrote, "It is illegal to conduct roving patrols which identify people based upon race alone, aggressively question them, and then detain them."
But no, I'm gonna stop on the video if you want to watch the rest. All right, here's the title again. You can look at it by MSNBC. But yeah, things are going to intensify. All right, when Esau declares martial law. All right, because ultimately that's what he wants to do. All right, in order to move forward with his agenda. All right. So a lot of our people are about to go real broke. All right, they're gonna be struggling even more once their SNAP benefits get taken away. All right, and as more businesses start to shut down even more, because you also have that happening at the same time. But yeah, when Esau declares martial law, all right, a lot of things are going to change real fast. Isaiah 13:6. How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all thy hands be faint, every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. And in the time of Jacob's trouble, all right, even men are gonna be afraid in that day, right? Because we're coming into a time like no other, as what the scripture says. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay and the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. You see, and the Lord is using Esau, all right, to destroy the 2/3 of our people. All right, and this also goes ahead and prove that the Lord doesn't love sinners. All right, the Lord is punishing sinners, really. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give the light. The sun shall be darkened and his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. You see, the Lord is, the Lord just said, I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I'll cause the arrogance of the proud to cease. I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Right? And I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore, I will, the Lord is going to make his elect man more precious than fine gold, right? Because they have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? They have the Spirit of the Lord on them. Verse 13, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, and the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and the day of his fierce anger, and it shall be as a chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Including 2/3 of our people. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. And that's what we're going to see, all right, in the time of Jacob's struggle. All right, Esau, is not going to be sparing none. All right. Lord has spirits created for vengeance. All right. Ezekiel 9:6 slay. I'm gonna go says. I'm gonna start with 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry, and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And those who have the mark, all right, the mark of exempt from judgment, all right, which is also called the tawa, or exempt from judgment, are the elect. All right. All right, they're going to be exempt from judgment, because they're the ones sighing and crying, all right, because of the abominations that are being done here in this place. It says, and to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city, and smite, and let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old, young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they begin at the ancient men which were before the house. And you see, the Lord doesn't love everybody, all right? It literally tells you to slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, all right? But it says, come not near any man upon whom is the mark. And yeah, when all hell breaks loose, all right, the Lord is not going to show any sympathy, no mercy to 2/3 of our people, all right? And because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, all right? And hey, the only way for our people to be cleansed, all right, 2/3 to be cleansed is, by the way of death, all right? Since, they don't want to hearken now, they're going to have to hearken the harder way. And hey, trust me, there's going to be a whole lot more judgment, when all hell breaks loose, because that's what we're coming into, right? If Esau is doing this now in the green tree, all right, society is still running, all right, how much more when the power goes out, all right? Things are going to look a lot more hectic when shit really hits the fan out here in the streets of America. But nonetheless, hope this lesson was edifying. We give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai, and Shalom.